what's exciting, first and foremost, with Tommy Lynch just came off the ground and he was more excited than any, so he'll play forward. Obviously having Tex out takes a fair bit of experience out of that forward line, but we feel like the youth is going to give us a contest. The youth is going to enjoy the challenge, and what bigger challenge than West Coast backline? Huge respect for the way they play, and our guys are looking forward to the challenge.
Fisher play forward?
Yeah, Fisher play forward. Yeah, we're going to. We freshened him up from last week. We felt that it's a long season for guys who come in first year, and especially the way we were playing him down back. He had a number of key matchups, and we were putting our backs under a fair bit of pressure in those early rounds. So we felt a week's rest, freshen him right up. He's had a really good break, and now get him back in and let him jump at a few. The group couldn't be any more happy for what he's gone through. He's had a lot of adversity over his career, and he's spent a lot of time in rehabilitation, a lot of setbacks, but he's just kept his head up, kept smiling, kept working, and he deserves the opportunity. So from a playing group, from a club point of view, the club are really happy for him. We're looking forward to seeing him out there, and just to see the smile on his face when we announced it, that was enough. But look, I know he's going to play some good footy. He's in some really good form as well, and so he's been knocking the door down now for a couple of weeks.
And Tyson, it sounds as though he's done a lot of work, not just to stay fit, but also to try and regain the self-confidence.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, on and off field. He had the luxury of being able to play. Obviously with the competition being slightly different, he's been able to play some footy. So rather than trying to match him and put him through training sessions, he's been getting some really good match time, both on ball and forward of the ball. So we're excited about what he brings, because it's an area we haven't quite got going at this point. Is that forward pressure, a little bit of a spark around the footy as far as his ability to change direction and take the opposition on.
You tempted it all, you've rested Tex, were you tempted it all to do the same with Roy, given he's been in under pressure? It doesn't quite seem able to do the stuff he's there.
Yeah, we were actually. We had a look at it, and even into last week, he's been batted around a fair bit, purely through a bit of bad luck. Just a foot in the wrong spot here and there, and a cork that was one you rarely see. So we had a thought of it, but Rory in the end is going to make that decision, and we think he's played some really good footy. He's had a good week this week. He came out of last week unscathed, so we're confident that we'll get him back around the footy a lot more than we did last week, and let him get his teeth into it a little bit more, and that's something that he's looking forward to. I think he's been a little frustrated, being on the outside, but part of that's been a bit of management with him just to make sure his body's okay. Yeah. We had a chat straight away when we found out it was an honest mistake, and you could see yesterday he was shaken up by it, but straight away, front foot, he made the call and put something out there for the public, and probably more for Nick Nat, because he's got huge respect for Nick Nat, and the way the footy that he's playing at the moment is second to none when it comes to ruck work, and it's quite a scary thing to come up against. But Rob every week he's a true professional. He goes through and he takes his notes on what he needs to do for that weekend. And part of being an athlete is finding weaknesses, finding areas that maybe you can expose an opposition. We don't normally tweet that out. He had some phone issues, and it is what it is. But he'll recover well, and now he's just going to get ready for that first centre bounce, because I think Nick Nat will be pretty fired up. Yeah, there was going to be heat anyway. I mean, he's in some rare form, so it's going to be a big challenge, but I know he's looking forward to it.
Touched on everyone being happy for Moose. Tell us a little bit about where he's going to play and what to expect from him.
I've given you a fair bit, haven't I, so far? We're not hiding from that. Look, he's a half-backer, really solid in defence and a really good ball user. He's one of those players that you can really rely on. Different to a Will Hamill. I'm not saying you can't rely on Will, but Will's got some speed and a real X factor about him. Mac is very composed, very controlled. He'll help us set up. I've no doubt he'll be really important to us going forward.
How many, half a dozen, how many issues
Yes, yeah, so soft tissue. We looked at that for this week, obviously travelling day game. It's a challenge we haven't seen for a long time at AFL level, but we've put in as many precautions as we can and got ourselves ready from a setup when we get over there. 3 hours early, we'll have a room set up where we'll be able to meditate and stretch and spend some time together beforehand.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think you're on record previously for saying that you didn't feel you needed a senior assistant to come in the coaching group. Do you feel like now, sort of 5 weeks in, you obviously Adam's new, Godsey in his second year, Brent, you taking over the back line, you infancy in your coaching career. Do you feel like you've still got the support that you need?
I've got great support, but the environment's changed substantially since when I initially signed on and we had conversations as a club about what we would need. We had 11 coaches at that particular time, and now we're back to 6. And every club's gone through a huge change. So as with everything, with game plan, with the way the club runs, we're constantly trying to update and be as strong as we can in every area. That's one of those areas that we start to have a look at the moment and say, we'll look at our coaching group going forward. If it's experience that we need to come in and help us, we'll go down that path.
Do you feel like you will need someone? Senior head perhaps?
Oh, look, at this point in time, we're working really hard on making the group better. We're never gonna say never. You want to get the best people around, and we want to explore the options, because there's going to be a number of people out there, unfortunately, with the way the industry's gone. There's a lot of people, really good operators out there that will be out of work. A lot of staff's been cut by 30, 40 odd %. So we'll do our due diligence to make sure we do become the best footy department we can.
Was that an 0-5 start? Was that a realistic possibility for you, and something that you not expected to were aware of happening this year? Was that something that was a surprise?
It's not. It's a hard one. You've got to be careful how I word it, but we'd gone through everything as far with our group, our leadership group, around scenarios, what can show itself. We talked about the possibility of being 0-6 and what's going wrong. You work back from that part, and I believe we've done our work on that. I'm not going to say it's not a surprise. We'd like to be winning more games of footy. For a number of different reasons, we're not doing that. A lot of it we're working through. A lot of it we believe we're on top of. Probably the best part about some of the investigation we did prior to the season starting was, if this scenario showed itself, how do we want to be off field? How do we want to be going through and working? And we're doing some really positive stuff off field. The boys are persisting, they're sticking strong. So from that aspect, we're pleased with the way they're going about it, but we've still got a fair bit of work to do to get to where we need to get, and that's ultimately that'll give us, as people want, that'll give us wins, and the outcome will be better for us.
How much patience does that require?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of patience, and it's from our playing group, our supporters, our coaching group, our staff. We've got to stick tight through what is a tough time. We understand it's tough at the moment. There's a lot of positive things coming through. We're about to debut our 8th player for the season. We're seeing some really good footy played by some of our younger guys, in Chase Jones, Will Hamill last week. I think everyone, enjoyed watching what hopefully we're going to see there as further growth still to come.
Contested up much better last week, but the skills were probably the biggest short. How have you addressed that?
Yeah, we get one part of it right, our intensity, and then unfortunately we let ourselves down with our execution, both with the ball and in front of goal. It comes back to training. We've just got to continue to train it. I know a lot of guys spend a fair bit more time out there today, but 1 week's not going to change that. It's not something you change in a week. We've now put in 2 or 3 weeks of outstanding training, and part of that is executing. Part of that's our skills being at the level they need to be. You can't go at 60% by foot. You've got to be up around that 80% if you're going to win games of footy. So we'll just continue to work in that space, and we'll turn around over a longer period of time.
Now, after the Freo game, you said you read the article about camp in 2018. You said you would get around to some other players. Have you had that opportunity?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, informally, just talking about how they're feeling and how they're going. Obviously, there's a fair bit going on, outside when it comes to that. We're doing our best not to go back you know, we've got some things we're working through at the moment, and everything's about projecting forward on how we're going to get better, how we're going to improve, how can we help each other improve. So most of those conversations were just really touching base. You know, how has it affected you? How are you feeling about it? What do we need to do going forward?
What was the wash up of that? Players happy to voice any concerns they have? Were they past it? Were they happy to talk about it?
Yeah, happy to talk about it, but more about they're probably looking forward more than what I was at that point. I was happy to open up dialogue, but it was more about, look, this is where we're at now, and let's go. Let's get ourselves back. And as we said before, we want to get back into the winning circle. So how are we going to do that, coach? And that's where the conversation ended up going, which is positive.
It feels like we talk about it all externally. It's spoken about more. The players' focus is that you get the feeling that they're past it.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a tough one because a lot of the external noise is around it. Internally, we're heads down and we're getting to work.
So players quoted in those articles, believe that's more former players rather than players just kind of
Hard for me to say, to be honest. Yeah, we're up. Yeah, so we're similar. We're up early, and it's not different to any team that's travelling and playing away. I know, I know the Giants in Sydney they're heading up, and they've got quite a journey ahead of them. So that's what we're doing. We're up early, and we're back reasonably late, but we see that as a real hit and run job. It's something we haven't had for a number of years, as I said before, but it's a great challenge. It's something that our group are going to embrace. And yeah, we're on the bus and out on the tarmac and on the plane again. It'll be carry on only, and then we get the job done and we come home.
So what happens on the plane though? I assume you wouldn't want the players sitting down for 3 hours.
The seatbelt sign goes off and we're up and about. I mean, the guys have all travelled enough to know what we need, but especially going into a game, it'll be a little bit of overdo it, get up, move around. As I said before, we'll get there early, a little earlier than we normally would, and have a chance to stretch and just get our minds in the right space. But it's a challenge, but we'll embrace it.
What about the challenge of 4-day breaks? That sounds quite a realistic possibility. We're going to break that.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, it's opportunity. I mean, some of our guys see that as opportunity. It's trying to back up after on a 4-day break. It's quite tough. So we'll have to look at full list and how we manage our way through that. It's something that is not new. We've spoken with the AFL over the last 6 months around the possibility of it. So again, challenges, bring them on.